Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh, we definitely got him this time. They don't even know. I mean, they do, but they don't.
They're gonna act like they don't know.
Oh yeah, is the blurb still accurate?
As of yesterday, yes.
Man, I had spicy food and now my throat's all messed up.
I was supposed to say you're coughing a lot.
Yeah. I had some kimchi fried rice and it was extra spicy.
I'm just... I'll make a note to myself. I'll say it in a second. God.
I mean, cell phones are cell phones, Mikey. That's what they're doing.
Alright. Air horn check. Okay.
From Universal Studios Hollywood.
Love that song so much. This Bin Podcast Network production is brought to you by our patrons whose continued support keeps the lights on. Give me some crowd noise. So thank you, Russell, Hayden, Ollie, Dig on America, LeClaire Vert, and Tons of Mice. Thank you. We're grateful.
Patreon.com/The Bin Podcast.
If you want to join them and see some of our exclusive content, I fixed my Stream Deck, so I am controlling our shots with my
With the Stream Deck? Wow, look at you.
With the flick of the wrist.
Fancy. It's like we have production.
Of course we do.
I love Tesla.
Well, let me embiggen this. Enhance. No bants today. We're going right in. Going right. You go right in. Let me. I got a button for this. Let's full screen enhance.
There we go. Oh man. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. I don't know.
Good night and good luck.
That's the show.
Oh boy, I mean, y'all really just handed that one to her. I mean, that was a layup. That was a layup.
I don't know how you give that one to Hillary after years of what about her emails.
But what about her emails? Benghazi
and the emails, guys. And you're like, we're just going to text each other classified information through a third-party app that everyone can join.
Dude, who else is still in there?
I got to tell you, I went through some basic cybersecurity training when I started working for the Congresswoman. And this is exactly what they tell you not to do.
Exactly. Do not start talking on Snapchat about work stuff. Do not.
Don't use Facebook Messenger to talk about bombing other countries.
So if you've been under several different rocks, we'll just let the, what is his title? Defense Secretary.
Former Fox News host.
I tell you something, this is a trip we've had circled on the calendar from the beginning.
the Indo-Pacific,
Uh-huh.
shifting priorities to make sure we're deterring threats to the future. President Trump's been focused on that.
Uh-huh.
Reestablishing the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military, and ultimately reestablishing deterrence is critically important. And so we're out here to talk to our commanders and, more importantly, meet with the troops. All
Now, I want to be very selective in my outrage because
All right.
because there's one specific part of this that enrages me more than all the other parts. Because I assume that leaks happen all the frickin' time with this administration, just like last time.
Yeah.
But there's something very specific about his response that literally had me seeing red last night.
across the Indo-Pacific, and then our allies and partners, too, are going to be a critical part of ensuring the
Get to
future in this region is free. And so we're glad to be here. It's a beautiful day. Had a full work day on the plane. Now we've got a full work day here as well, and looking forward to it. One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in the Atlantic? And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that
What the
peddles
fuck?
in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is
So, here's what I'm mad about.
All right.
There's a lot of like toxic masculinity going around and a lot of like this incel warrior lifestyle bullshit. And they always like it almost feels like, I don't know, like a slur to call these boys men. Men do not lie. Boys lie. When you grow up and you mature and you accept your role as a man in this society, you have to be honest. This is a child. He immediately starts with the defaming of, defaming the institution and defaming the reporter and everything. And now it's suddenly, I know I was supposed to. No, you have chocolate all over your mouth. And we asked you, Pete, who ate the cookies? I don't know who ate cookies. Pete, I'm gonna ask you again. Did you take the cookies out of the cookie jar? I don't even like cookies. I have never had cookies before. I don't even like them. But to be an adult man and lie when you made a mistake, you lied. Like that it's so bereft of class and dignity and honor and everything that I put into my manhood of being this, like, not so much stoic, but accountable. I'm not right all the time, but I'm not going to run away from my mistakes. Sir.
I agree. And like Pete Hegseth is one of those manosphere toxic masculinity motherfuckers. Before he became defense secretary, he was out there marketing fucking grenade-shaped soap. And he was peddling all sorts of nonsense. And let's not forget his white nationalist tattoos.
Right.
That are all over his body that you can't see currently because he's wearing shirts. But the defense secretary is generally, not always, generally, a high-ranking general or someone who knows how to deal with classified information, and also someone who knows how to talk, and someone who's reputable. Like these are like 3 and 4 star generals, and you're supposed to be able to trust what they're saying because they're basically the Secretary of War.
Right.
And
very no nonsense, serious men.
Right. And Hegseth has zero accountability. He's like, even from the confirmation hearings, like he's known as a drunk, a Fox News host, no accountability, and he's just slimy. He's gross. Like him calling this journalist like a liar and saying that this journalist is just out to get him and the Trump administration is crazy. He works for the Atlantic, like not like the New York Times or some like he's not some dude on the internet who's just calling Hegseth out. The Atlantic is like a very reputable paper, and he's a very reputable journalist. And he said, "Hey guys,
I'm not supposed to see this.
I'm not supposed." And if he wasn't reputable, he would be disclosing the very classified information I'm sure he had that he didn't disclose, just for clicks or whatever.
Right.
But he was like, "Hey guys, I got added to this fucking Snapchat. I know it wasn't Snapchat, but I got added to this Snapchat Signal, and they just started talking about war stuff, and I was like, what's going on here?"
And he even the journalist even said, "Is like, I thought it was like a trick. I didn't think this was a real thing. It was probably like spoof. What everybody like." There's no way I'm in a group chat with the vice president right now. Like, this is probably fake. Let's see how this plays out.
Right, and then the bombs started dropping in Yemen. He's like, "Oh shit, that was real."
Right.
So
and I'll run it back, and because I need to say hi to everybody. I'm sorry, I forgot. I wanted to yell about this very early. I've been waiting
like
since 2 a.m.
He's been stewing on it.
I have, because he thinks he's so slick. Like, and the thing is, the White House, or not the White House, but like one of the departments had already confirmed that these were valid and were real. So then to come in after the fact, after essentially the Trump administration has admitted that this did happen, and they're looking into how it happened and how to prevent it. Here he is getting off the plane, completely unaware of that, lying. Just lying.
And this is also a case of one hand not knowing what the other is doing.
Yeah.
Because you're right, the White House did come out and say it, and not the president. The president says he has no idea what's going on, which is probably true.
Accurate, probably.
But the White House and I'm sure like the Pentagon were like, yeah. Oops. Yeah, we did a bad. We did a bad thing.
Where's their whoopsie tweet about that?
Yeah.
Let me get my air horn warmed up here. Steven! Ryan! Gina! Tim! Prostate Sisters! Scott! Paul! Daily Blase! Said Ryan. Diz. I think that's everyone. Simply Secular Dave. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Paul. Scott again, maybe. I'm starting to forget where I was.
I think you got them all.
Hi everyone. Howdy. There's a cat in here. What do you want, cat? We don't have any more. I just sold the last one.
I'm sorry, we're all out.
You should have came yesterday. They were on sale 2 for 1.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles.
And all that stuff was actually said. You know what I mean? Like Trump said all of that stuff.
Right. He did say they're very fine people on both sides.
Right.
He said it. There's video of him saying it. This is like
This is like-
Orwellian.
yeah. Who are you gonna believe? Me or your lying eyes?
Yeah. And I don't know if Trump instructed everyone when they referred to like the various Russia scandals to just say Russia, Russia, Russia. But that seems like the name they've attributed to the various scandals involving Trump and Russia. But they were all real things that happened.
Right. I mean, that call to Zelensky didn't happen, right? The perfect phone call never happened.
Oh, the perfect one. Yeah, I never. Didn't happen, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or...
And that... he just lies. Bro, we know it's an airstrike already.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just lying.
At shacks in Yemen, President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
But the journalist showed some of the text.
Shame! Shame!
Liar.
Yeah, liar. And he's just trying to say that what you see in here isn't actually what you see in here.
Like, brother, you have a lying problem. Like, you lie to yourself, like when you say you're only going to have one more, and like you lie to your wife when you say you'll never do it again. You're a liar, dude. You're no man. You're just a liar. A lying ass little boy.
Yep. Now I'm sure that like no one else is talking about any of this, right?
No one else has heard about it. Oh, except for the guy.
Except
for the guy. Yeah. Here's the guy.
Secretary Hegseth there saying that nobody was texting war plans. Given you were privy to this group chat, is that how you saw it?
No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans.
Wait, isn't there a Keith Olbermann button?
Oh, yeah.
After Malmedy, some German captives were executed by American troops.
Wrong answer. When you are...
He was texting attack plans, when targets were going to be targeted, how they were going to be targeted, who was at the targets, when the next sequence of attacks were happening. I didn't publish this, and I continue not to publish it because it felt like it was too confidential, too technical, and I worry.
How he gets screenshots of your DMs then, dude?
Yeah,
He
right?
wasn't there, and he's making this all up. How did he get it? How did he know?
Honestly,
man.
that sharing that kind of information in public could endanger American military personnel. But no, they were plans for the attack. And they were texted before the attack.
And there were things texted that you viewed as so sensitive, you did not even publish them in your report today.
I made the decision that the technical aspects of this, including
What if it was like Harvey Levin, like the TMZ guy?
Yeah, oh my god.
Can you imagine? Or Rupert Murdoch's gang.
Yeah, because they like, didn't they illegally spy on people to get that kind of shit?
Pierce Morgan.
Yeah, right. So if it wasn't a reputable journalist or a journalist that like had fucking ethics, this would be like way blown out.
They would have
Like,
sold
you
that
would've
information on the dark web for Bitcoin faster than you could blink.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would be everywhere. Like
Yeah.
the entire conversation would be
Yeah.
just available. Secrets and all.
And the other side of the coin is the other half of the reason why they're not supposed to be using these third-party apps is because we need a record of this stuff. Like, that's our phones. You know what I mean? That's our planes that you're flying. Those are our meetings. You're doing that at the pleasure of the people, right? You're
Yeah.
all still public servants. Like, they keep trying to treat this like it's a business. It's not a business. You don't own this. We own this. You're stewards, you know, and they just kind of like, yeah, we'll just do like a WhatsApp. We'll just get a WhatsApp.
Yeah, yeah.
And make sure we'll turn the encryption on because that's, you know, that means it's good.
Well, honestly, there's only two ways this could happen, and both of them are violating security protocols, even at the most basic level. Either they downloaded a third-party app into a government phone, which is not allowed,
Right.
or they downloaded a third-party app onto a personal phone and then started talking about war plans on their personal phone, which is also probably not allowed.
I mean, it's not like there's software that could totally hack their phone.
Right.
Like, I don't even have to, like, that's what's so stupid about all this. Is everyone keeps talking about how, oh, well, it's encrypted and da-da-da. Yeah, for people who aren't in the group chat, but if I can get one of their goddamn phones, or if I could just get near it and hack that and clone that motherfucker, then it doesn't matter. Like, they're so dumb. This is exactly why you need to be in a skiff and not, like, out there just where I'm in Michigan right now. Like, dude, that means you are not in a secured location.
And like, I saw some of those texts and they're like, hey guys, we totally bombed those people. And they're like thumbs up emojis going on and a great day for America kind of stuff. Like, they're all cheering each other on.
Like,
it's gross. It's gross and it's deceitful. And I'm glad they got caught doing it.
Yeah.
Because it just shows how completely incompetent they are.
Like, if they thought that this, like, new Trump 2.0 military was going to be bigger and better and, like, more capable, and then the Hegseths talk about, yeah, we're going to have a warrior mentality. What, one who's passed out from mead by the, like, rolling their leg into the fire? Is that the warrior we're turning into?
Yeah.
Like, this is a fucking mistake, dude. Like, this is a huge mistake. If Trump was any kind of man, he'd fire Hegseth, but he won't do it. Even though he said Biden's big thing was he never fired anybody. That's why everything sucks around here. Your boy just fucking put a Spider-Man reporter inside the group chat. I'll wait for the hammer to fall. You know, it ain't gonna happen.
And if this was literally any other president, this dude would be fucking fired. And like half the people that were in that conversation would be fired.
Oh yeah. Because none of them should have been doing that.
None of them should have been doing that on a fucking like app that you can purchase in any app store. Just going around.
Cell phones never get hacked, Tim. Never.
Sending each other pics. And like, hey, we're bombing the Houthis. What are you guys doing? Oh, I'm having a party. Like, come on, guys. What is this? What the fuck?
I'll talk about that when I get to the office on Monday. Like, I'm out in Michigan picking blueberries, so I won't be doing that.
These are the most unserious people having the most important jobs.
I don't know, MAGA. Is this what you signed up for? Is this what y'all are cool with this?
And I'm sure the MAGA will be exactly like Pete Hegseth. Oh, it never happened. It's a lie. This guy's just out to get them and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sure that the two realities thing, two realities theory that I have now, that they just live in another reality. And we live in Earth 1. They live in Earth. Yeah, we live in Earth Prime, and they live in like Earth 452. Where everything is, Trump is just, he can't do any wrong. He's the God Emperor, and we all must bow to him.
kinds of weapons packages, the attack sequencing, and so on. That's not necessarily in the public interest. What's in the public interest is that they were running a war plan on a messaging app and didn't even know who was invited into the conversation. I mean, it's an obvious, ridiculous security breach. And, you know, he if you notice, he didn't actually answer the question.
But his attempt at a denial also stood out to me because no one that I talked to at the White House today argued this or tried to say these were, you know, misconstrued or altered or this is not real. I mean, the National Security Council confirmed the veracity of
the
it.
National Security Council, I asked various officials, including Pete Hegseth this morning, for comment. And the first question I had for everyone is this real? I wanted to make sure, obviously, before we go public, and say, are you sure that this is not a disinformation campaign run by a foreign state, a non-state actor of some sort, trying to target?
It could be a trap. It could be a very well orchestrated trap.
It's a trap.
Yeah, man. Get you to say something.
But to not even know who's in your group chat about war plans
is wild.
It's just at least make sure everyone's there who's supposed to be there, and no one who's not supposed to be there is on your group chat. I do it, and I don't have any security clearance.
See, y'all had that DUI hire, and it worked out exactly like we thought it was. Exactly like we thought it was.
Oh, man.
Oh, where's that? Let me see if I can find.
I still can't believe that, like, Pete Hegseth has this job. They let him do this.
Oh, where's the audio?
Where's the audio? Oh no.
Hold on. I was scrubbing through it so I could see the subtitles. I was like, aha, I found a good one. Bastards.
But apparently, my ears.
Sorry.
Apparently Vance was kind of the voice of reason in this group chat too. He was like, guys, I don't know if we should be doing this. The whole, like, why don't we wait a little bit? Because it's not going to make us look good to be out there bombing people. And like everyone else is like, no, we're doing this.
Here, I'll read it for you real quick because I don't know if I can find it. It looks like they're scrubbing it because everything I come up is the same thing now. Musk is making us look bad. He's making me look bad. And I'll tell you this, and you wouldn't like it if I said it, but he's not even an American. Musk is from South Africa. It is cosmopolitan. There's this great American There's this great American leader in a room that has the portraits of some of the greatest men that ever lived in this country. And he has the audacity to act like he is an elected official. I am an elected official.
I'm the important one.
I'm the important one in this situation, not him. So if he wants to tank the economy and his cars, maybe that's what he deserves.
Wow. I have various things to say about this statement. One of them being that this is exactly what MAGA does when you try to do things they don't like. On Twitter, when they're trying to do like we'll keep the H-1B people because they're important. Like Elon and Vivek were out there on Twitter saying we got to keep the H-1B people because they're important. We need them to run our businesses and whatever. And they were like, y'all are not smart enough, so we need these people.
So there's a culture problem.
And then they started saying the same exact thing Vance was saying there. He's an African, so we need to get rid of him. Like they went straight to, you South African, get out of our country. Like, oh my God.
You're right down the barrel.
Targeted journalists for reasons I couldn't explain, and they're like, no, this is apparently a real channel, and I appreciate them telling the truth. about that, and we published.
Did they seem
Okay, so the government's confirmed it. So before y'all get into your conspiracy theory bag, your man's is already confessed. And y'all lying.
Already.
And y'all lying.
What else we got?
A stunning statement from a federal judge just today that Nazis were treated better than the Venezuelan nationals the Trump administration deported to El Salvador. That came in a pivotal hearing that ended just a few moments ago.
Nazis were treated better. I don't even know where to begin. When judges are out there being like, yeah, y'all are worse than the Nazis.
Like, damn, bro, the Nazis weren't like this. Take it easy, half of Hitler. Like, what it like...
Right. When a judge is out there saying that Truman treated the Nazis better under the Alien Enemies Act than you're treating these Venezuelans, that's a problem.
A 3-judge panel at the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments in the government's effort to
Why are we so embarrassing?
resume deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. The Justice Department coming under withering questioning at times on whether the government moved so fast in deporting more than 200 people to a prison camp in El Salvador that they were denied their rights. Take a listen to Judge Patricia Millett.
There were no procedures in place to notify people. Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemy Act than has happened here, where the proclamation required the promulgation of regulations, and they had hearing boards before people were removed. And yet here there's nothing in there.
Oh no, apparently our JD Vance clip is AI.
Oh no, was it AI? Damn.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun while it lasted. We issue a retraction for the AI JD Vance clip. He didn't say those things in public.
But he thought them.
I'm sure he thinks them all the time.
About hearing boards, there's no regulations, and nothing was adopted by the agency officials that were administering this. People weren't given notice. They weren't told.
Oh, dude, it's the couch thing. I love the internet sometimes. They're couching him again, baby. Hit him with ottoman. Add an ottoman to the story.
Where they were going.
Yeah.
And they were given, those people on those planes on that Saturday had no opportunity to file habeas or any type of action to challenge the removal under the AEA. And like you've agreed that 2 of those airplanes, people were removed under the AEA. What's factually wrong about what I said?
Again, according to the judge.
So, all right, I listened to a lot of this hearing live, and so the hearing was to stop an injunction order from the government deporting these Venezuelans who they've rounded up randomly,
right?
Because of tattoos they had or things that people heard about them. And there's a class action lawsuit by 5 of the people who've been detained that to stop this from happening, or at least give them individual hearings so that they can defend themselves.
Right.
The attorney for the government was the dumbest motherfucker I've ever heard. He kept arguing, and which is why the judge made this statement. He kept arguing that since those 5 detainees got to file a habeas claim and get an injunction, that everyone is now fine. That the people who got deported in the planes before them, or it doesn't matter because they're already gone. But now people in the future can now, and the judge was like, all right, but what about the people on the planes? Did they get any notice? Did they receive any notice about what was going to happen to them? Did they get any sort of rights? Like, even though that they are considered illegal immigrants, which no one can verify,
right?
They still have rights under the Constitution. They still have rights under our laws to due process, and the government took all of that away. and just deported them to some third country.
Which is still, like we talked about last week, like that is so wild to just like send people to Siberia, you know, send them like to the middle of the rainforest. Like, what are we talking about? You can't just drop people off wherever you feel like it.
And continually the government's lawyer kept saying, well, these 5 people got to do it. And the judge was like, that's not what I'm asking you about. We already know. I'm asking you about the 200 people that you just disappeared from this country without any recourse on their part. What about them? Did they get due process? Did they get any rights? And he just kept saying the same thing over and over. And the judge got like fed up with him. And she's like, listen, just answer my question.
Not hard.
It's not hard. And that's why she said, is anything I said factually wrong? And his response was to just say the same things over and over. And she got him to agree that, like, you know, they didn't really have any sort of process, but he said there weren't any processes in place, so how could they do it? And like, she put him in a corner and just destroyed him.
Yeah, because if there is no process in place, under what authority are you moving right now? Like, why are you doing anything if there is no plan? If there's no chain of command, there's no policy that's been written up, there's no step by step, this is SOP, then what are you doing? And that's fucking, when you have fucking Meatball Homan over there, fucking like, we're just gonna do whatever we feel like doing, whenever we feel like doing it. That's not the SS? Like, I'm stupid?
Right. And the lawyer for the government also kept saying that, like, oh, they're trying to challenge Trump's ability to use the Alien Enemies Act. And the judges were like, no, this is a very specific hearing about individual rights for these detainees to have hearings. And it's not about Trump's ability to use the law. It's not even about the constitutionality of the law. Like, they don't even, that's not even their focus, their purview in this trial, in this hearing. They just want to know if people got to use their rights.
Right.
And the lawyer for the government could not answer the question.
Fuck.
Nazis got better treatment than people sent to El Salvador, many of whom deny any connection to Tren de Aragua, a violent gang that originated in Venezuela. Just hours before today's hearing, federal judge James Boasberg dealt the Trump administration another blow, refusing to lift his own order barring deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. The judge saying, in effect, that when the government says that someone is a gang member and can be deported, they have the right to prove that they are not. Quote, before they may be deported, they are entitled to individualized hearings to determine whether the act applies to them at all. As the government itself concedes, the awesome power granted by the act may be brought to bear only on those who are, in fact, alien enemies. But not only have many of the Venezuelan nationals deported to El Salvador denied that they are who the government says they are, there are questions about whether the Alien Enemies Act even applies to the actual gang. Here's National Security Advisor Michael.
And that's Steve Bannon, you know. That's the smash and grab. That's the throw 50 things up in the air at the same time. That's villain shit.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
And like, I think we covered it with Katie and Sagar, or Crystal and Sagar.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why these guys cannot like connect the wires in their brain to understand that they live here. Like if anyone can just be scooped up and put in a van and disappeared for any reason at any point forever, essentially, how does that make them feel comfortable?
Right.
But we're overreacting, I'm sure.
Oh, we're way overreacting about, you know, the government just disappearing people to El Salvador for no particular reason.
Had to say in court.
We're talking about people being sent to El Salvador, one of the worst prisons in the world, incommunicado. They're essentially being disappeared. The President of El Salvador has now said maybe they're going to spend the rest of their lives there. The government has provided zero ability to bring habeases.
Essentially being disappeared, Jacob, you have reported on one of the darkest periods of American history.
Claire McCaskill?
Yeah, she's a political correspondent now.
Though we are now living through an extension of that cruelty.
I'm glad that you drew the parallel, Alicia, to family separation and pointed out that Lee Gallant was the head lawyer for the ACLU that stopped that policy and won the reunification of those 5,500 kids that were deliberately taken from their parents. I think to understand this chapter of American history and what the Trump administration is doing to Venezuelans who are inside the United States by accusing them of being in this gang, TDA, you have to go back and remember family separation, why it was such a big deal, why so many people rose up around the world, and why ultimately President Trump himself stopped the policy. The judge that ended the policy in that case that Lee Gallant argued was a Republican-appointed judge, Dana Sobran in the Southern District of California. He called the family separation policy one of the most shameful chapters in the history of our country. And the reason that he called it that was because, in his words, it shocked the conscience. It shocked the conscience of the American people. Also a parallel drawn by Lindsay Toslowski from Immigrant Defenders Law Center out here in California, who represents one of the Venezuelans that's now sitting in that El Salvadorian prison.
Like, how are they even going to get them out now?
Yeah. How are they even going to know where to find them? Like that, I get that they're like in the prison, but you know, once you're processed and in there, they can do anything they want to you.
That's crazy. Crazy to send people to a whole different country.
It's
Absolutely
not even
crazy.
It's not even their country. They got sent to a third country.
Right.
Which violates international law.
Right.
If you're going to deport someone, generally you have to do it to their home country. Or a country that you have a border with. Yeah.
Back to what I addressed at the outset. I mean, this was not only sloppy, it not only violated all procedures, but if this information had gotten out, American lives could have been lost. The Houthis had this information, could reposition their defensive systems. So I want to get a little more information about this. Director Gabbard, did you participate in the group chat with Secretary of Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address. So you're not. Are you denying? Matt, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat.
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat.
Wow.
Senator, I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security Council.
Because it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
As the White House previously
Is it classified or non-classified information on this text?
I can confirm.
Director Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal messaging group.
So you were the John Ratcliffe on that chat?
I was.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I provide some context, Senator, to that?
Shut the hell up.
Yes,
absolutely
I've got
not.
a series of questions.
Well, but I think it's important because at the outset you made a couple of comments about signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director,
You're taking up way too much time.
onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of Signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded.
Yeah, but you still don't talk about classified information on it. It's not a government messaging app. It's not secure.
Bro, he already got him to say, yeah, that's me inside the group chat. All this other shit is so ancillary. Who cares? Who cares?
The current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Ratcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, if you're making the statement, the Signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is.
I've got a series of
and decryption. So to finish,
I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels. Right. So those were procedures that were implemented. My staff.
So you're saying, oh, we had a dummy, we had a bot in there that was like replaying the chat to a server, so it's all good. Lie, boy, I'll just be lying.
Oh my God.
Implemented those processes, followed those processes, complied with those processes, and finally, just please. So my communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information.
Well, we will make that determination, because if it's not classified, share the text with the committee. Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there was no classified material,
let's see it.
Share it with the committee.
Oh my God.
Gotcha. Share it then.
Also, he got her to go from, I don't know anything about that, to there was no classified information. Like, oh my God.
Oh my.
You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
What is that smile thing that they all do? There's zombies inside, man. There's zombies or something.
They're the lizard people. It's not us. It's them.
Breathing through her gills and her eyes.
Yeah.
Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Time. All right, next
Senator,
question.
I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that
And if there's no classified materials, share. And then if there's no classified materials, then you can't even answer the question whether you're on the chat. This is strangely familiar, and I think my colleagues will remember, when you couldn't answer the question, is Edward Snowden a traitor? Now I have serious doubts about anyway. Director Gabbard, I'm going to give you this. Tweeted just 11 days ago, and I'm quoting you. Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such.
Question Up Sanity in the chat says, first. I get the argument that Signal is end-to-end encrypted, and even understand that some of it needs recording. Oh, it's moving. But why is there not a dedicated government app that has a secure repository to record? They probably have one.
Yeah, they probably do. They're just using Signal for some crazy fucking reason.
Oh, I keep losing my phone, and I don't have my government phone anymore, so. Drunk ass.
So if this information is classified, what are you going to do?
Senator, 2 points here. First of all, there's a difference between inadvertent release versus
careless and sloppy,
malicious leaks of classified information. The second point is there was no classified information that was on the
Signal committee should get that information. Director
and the
Patel,
National Security
Director Patel, my time's about out, and I'm going to use my 12 seconds up the chairman game. Director Patel, has the FBI launched any investigation of this?
Senator, I was just briefed about it late last night, this morning. I don't have an update.
I would like to get an answer by the end of the day.
God damn.
Dude, what is
Secretary of Defense putting this information at great risk?
Hold on.
I don't know.
I think it skipped me to the. There we go. Yo, what is up with Kash Patel?
Senator, I was just.
Tie all crazy.
Yeah, I do this as a gimmick. I don't know what he's doing.
I mean, he clearly gelled his hair in the sink, downstairs. Like, what is up with him?
I don't know, man.
What is going on?
I don't know. My tie's wrong on purpose, so I don't know what his deal is. And Mark Warner there is right. It's careless and sloppy that they invited a fucking journalist into their war group chat.
That's insane. But hey,
Butter emails.
you say you have got to be kidding me. I hate that bitch, but that's funny.
I mean,
I hate her. I hate her with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. But she got their number today, man.
When Hillary Clinton's out there dunking on you, you know there's a problem.
From the free throw line. Boy. Oh.
On an update tonight, the U.S. Postmaster General DeJoy officially resigned today following controversy in his position. He announced plans to step down last month with no date set. Today's decision comes just weeks after deciding to cut 10,000 workers and billions of dollars from the Postal Service, and a day after nationwide protests.
Are you kidding me? Another one caved.
Yep. And for context here, DeJoy was a Trump appointee from his first administration.
He'll be
He was
in charge of Amazon Mail.
He was in charge of slowing down the post office during COVID so that people couldn't mail in their ballots. If everyone will remember, that was why DeJoy was posted to the Postmaster General, so that he could make the post office less efficient.
Perfect.
Are we going to let them privatize the Postal Service?
Resignation is after 5 years in the office. Deputy Postmaster General Doug Tulino will be the interim Postmaster General until an official replacement is found.
KDRV, ABC 12 reporting in. Like, it's a bunch of cowards, man. This is exactly why young people should have taken over about 10 years ago. We should have started pushing people out of their jobs. Because then try that on a 40-year-old. You know, like, it ain't happening. Ain't going down like you think.
And you know, it's not like DeJoy was going to be the guy to stand up to Trump. Like he's a Trump ally, so he was going to fold eventually.
After firing 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Because that's their plan. Just defund everything until it just stops working.
Yeah.
This is still alive. Let's dive back in here. Let's see where they're at. Oh, it's over.
Oh, Tom Cotton. He's the chairman of this committee. Gross.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Senate
running Tom
Intelligence
Cotton.
Committee Annual Worldwide Threats Hearing. I'd like to begin by welcoming our esteemed
like adversaries, whether it's threats to take over Greenland or over the Panama Canal, destructive trade war with Canada, or literally threatening to kick Canada out of the Five Eyes. I feel our credibility is being enormously undermined with our allies, who I believe, and I think most of us on this committee.
I'm just hearing shit fall off of my fucking end table over there. I'm like, what are you doing?
Regardless of party beliefs, makes our country safer and stronger. But how can our allies ever trust us as the kind of partner we used to be when we, without consultation or notice, for example, stop sharing information to Ukraine?
Scott says to go to the last two questioners. They're also apparently spicy.
This one?
Is it Mr. Morin?
I think these are the last two.
Yeah, we'll play from there, see what happens.
To achieve its maximalist objectives via peace agreement.
Since the privatization of the Royal Mail in Britain, the Postal Service has been crap. Way overpriced for a stamp, and now they're talking of stopping Saturday Post. That's him. He just passed him. God damn.
Is it that gay?
Director Gabbard, same question. You've said it.
Is it him? Hoggle?
Hoggle?
He does look like Hoggle. A wee bit.
Apparently, him and Nest is the people we're looking for.
Okay.
Thank you. At least the impression I got was there was no classified information discussed. Is that correct?
Senator, my answer is the same as the director of the CIA's.
So the question has to be posed to Secretary Hegseth whether he declassified the information and at what point he did declassify it. Do you agree?
Yes, I defer questions to the Secretary of Defense.
Okay. Director Patel.
Somebody dry him out so we can answer questions.
Are you conducting an investigation of these discussions and activities?
Get out of my office.
Thank you, Senator. As I informed the vice chairman on the same question, I found out about this late last night, early this morning, so I don't have an update for you on that.
Well, thank you. When you get an update, we'd appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir.
Director Gabbard, were you overseas during any parts of these discussions?
Yes, Senator, I was.
Were you using your private phone or a public phone for the Signal discussions?
I won't speak to this because it's under review. But
Public phone. Public phone. She used her iPhone.
Oh, so you let Elon jailbreak all y'all phones so y'all can get whatever you wanted, huh? Uh-huh.
The National Security Council. Once that review is complete, I'm sure we'll share the results with the committee.
What is under review? It's a very simple question. Are you a private phone or an officially issued phone? What could be under review?
What? Yeah. What? Tulsi, what's under review there? Director of National Intelligence.
Why is the kid screaming?
Tulsi Gabbard. Babies just scream around her.
Like I'm looking at her in the monitor. She's not even mad. She's just yelling at the TV. I'll be back.
National Security Council is reviewing all aspects of how this came to be, how the journalist was inadvertently added to the group chat, and what occurred within that chat across the board.
But so you were not going to disclose anything about whether you use the phone. Director Radcliffe, there's been indication that the CIA has warned recently retired personnel about the vulnerabilities of Signal and other encrypted messaging applications. If that's the case, why were you discussing these issues on Signal?
Good question.
Senator, Signal use, as I've said repeatedly, is permissible for work purposes. I've never said that end-to-end encryption apps like Signal are a substitute for classified systems, and I was not discussing classified information in this setting.
But as you've indicated previously, perhaps the Secretary of Defense was discussing classified information, and only he can be held accountable in terms of whether it was classified or declassified at the point when he spoke. Is that accurate?
Well, I didn't say it that way. I said the Secretary of Defense is the original classification authority, and my understanding is that his comments are that any information that he shared was not classified.
But you have no way to verify that?
I don't.
Again, this is a very troubling example and a great lapse in our intelligence and our discussion. One further point, if you are not aware of any classified information on the discussions back and forth, would it be appropriate for the author to release the entire text of what he heard or transcribed?
I think the author has released, my understanding, essentially almost all of the information as it's been related to me. I don't know what calculation the author made with regard to what information would be released or not.
Well,
but again, I can again confirm that with respect to the communications that were related, as to me, there was no classified information.
According to the article, quote, the message contained information that might be interpreted as related to actual and current intelligence operations, and the author did not disclose that information. So the question would be, if he disclosed everything he heard, in your view.
That wouldn't be classified information. I know the context of what that is, and I think the author said might be interpreted as related to intelligence information. It was not classified information.
So it goes back to my point. If he released all this information he did not release, he could do so without any liability at the federal level.
I think you're asking for a legal answer that I'm not able to give you, but.
Mr. Patel, can you opine? You're a lawyer and you're the director of the FBI. Would he face any legal liability if he released the information?
Because of the questions you and the vice chairman have put to me, I'm not going to prejudge the situation, and that legal call is ultimately for the Department of Justice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But you work for the Department of Justice. The FBI
thank you,
director.
Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for joining us and for your service. Just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So, Director Radcliffe, you were a member of the Houthi PC small group signal chain, correct?
I was.
Yeah, and so were the Vice President, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited to be on.
And so was national political reporter Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
I don't know Jeffrey Goldberg, and I've already testified. I don't know
Yes, you do.
Whether or how he was added.
Okay, well, he was a member of the signal chain, and the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Vance, quote, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the President is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There was a strong argument for delaying this a month. You don't recall?
I don't. As you
don't recall seeing that?
Memory.
I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Director Radcliffe, surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals, senior echelons of the U.S. government, in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the Vice
Okay, sorry.
So, Mikey, if you want to go back like a minute, you can start this guy, and he really tears into him. He doesn't give any fucks about offending these people.
The baby needed a diaper, and Mrs. Famine texted me. Was like, "Hey, I ordered some food, so you should probably get it. It's a frozen pizza." I'm like, "Oh shit."
And thank you all for joining us and for your service. Just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So, Director Radcliffe, you were a member of the Houthi PC small group signal chain, correct?
I was.
Yeah, and so were the Vice President, the Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited.
Come on, man.
And so was national political reporter Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
I don't know Jeffrey Goldberg, and I've already testified. I don't know whether or how he was added.
Okay, well, he was a member of the signal chain, and the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Vance,
Yes.
quote, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the President is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There was a strong argument for delaying this a month. You don't recall?
He's like, sure, whatever.
I don't. As you
don't recall seeing that?
Read that? I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Director Radcliffe, surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals, senior echelons of the U.S. government, in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the Vice President opined on the wisdom of the strikes? That's your testimony today under oath?
In that setting, I don't recall.
Here's what Secretary Hegseth said, quote, waiting a few weeks or months does not fundamentally change the calculus. two immediate risks on waiting. One, this leaks and we look indecisive. Two, Israel takes an action first or Gaza ceasefire falls apart and we don't get to start this on our own terms. Your testimony is you don't recall the Secretary of Defense sending that message or reading it?
I recall there being an exchange. I don't recall the specifics as you're reading it.
Well, let's put it this way, Director Ratcliffe, a discussion by senior U.S. officials on the timing and risks of a proposed military campaign and disagreements between the president and the vice president about U.S. plans and intentions would be of obvious interest to foreign intelligence services, would it not?
Yes.
And they were discussing the timing of sending U.S. air crews into enemy airspace where they faced an air defense threat, correct?
I'm going to, Senator, defer to the other principles that you're referring to about what the meaning and the context of what they were
talking about
auditing.
the timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and therefore the timing of sending U.S. air crews into hostile airspace, correct?
Yes.
And therefore the time period during which enemy air defenses could target U.S. air crews flying in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
You do know that. Let me ask this question, General Hawk. You lead America's signals intelligence collection. Would the private deliberation of foreign senior officials about the wisdom and timing of potential military action be a collection priority for you and the U.S. intelligence community?
Senator, it's our job to do indications and warning.
Tim, what'd you say this guy's name was?
I don't know. I don't know his name. I can look him up, though.
For both the plans and intentions of adversary leaders and for military commanders.
And would not information...
Man, the one time the name tags are not like in frame. You know what I mean? Like the one time.
About the timing of airstrikes allow a military to pre-position or cue air defense systems to shoot down enemy aircraft?
I think, Senator, from our perspective, any advance warning is something that we certainly are trying to protect.
Yeah. Yes.
That senator is Georgia Senator John Ossoff.
A Georgia man.
A Democrat, one of the two Democratic Georgian senators.
Oh, that's right. Both of those are Democratic now.
Director Ratcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
What? Whoa. Come on.
Play that again. Play that again. That, you know what? That deserves to be a clip.
Oh my. Are you kidding me right now? Hold on.
Huge mistake, correct?
No.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No, Director Ratcliffe, I asked you a yes or no question, and now you'll hold on. A national political reporter
you can characterize it how you want.
Was made privy
the White
to
House
sensitive information about imminent military operations against a foreign terrorist organization.
Mistake of adding a reporter,
and that wasn't a huge mistake. That wasn't a huge mistake.
Well, I think they characterize it as
an embarrassment. This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of, correct?
No.
The gravity of this error. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the witnesses again for their appearance today. I sense the vice.
I guarantee you, Kash Patel, as soon as they walk out, was like, that went pretty well, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, guys. What's that?
That was okay, right? I mean, I'm not going to get fired. Some of you might get fired, but I'm not getting fired.
But I could see him being the yappy little dog trying to like cheer everybody up. And they're just like, shut the fuck up, Kash. God.
Vice Chairman has something to add.
I do.
So I will recognize him briefly.
Well, again, I thank the witnesses. But what you're saying doesn't make sense on the face of it. Everybody knows, at least Director Ratcliffe, you had the courtesy of acknowledging you were on the chain.
Yeah.
Director Gabbard wouldn't even touch that, even though we've got our initials. And if you want a comparison, think back to the beginning of the Ukraine war, when the United States, in concert with our then ally, the United Kingdom, declassified a lot of Putin's battle plans that allowed the Ukrainians to push back successfully on the Russian invasion. How was that? That was gone through a real process of declassification. As Senator Ossoff so clearly made the point, this information out, potentially where our adversary could reposition its defenses, in the unwillingness of the individuals on this panel who are on the chat to even apologize or acknowledging what a colossal screw up this is, speaks volumes.
Thank you to our witnesses for your appearance. A few administrative matters. As I mentioned earlier, Senator Collins is under the weather. She regrets that she could not be here for your testimony. Senator Risch, likewise.
Oh, man, Susan Collins wasn't there? That's such a shame. Oh, boy. I really miss Susan Collins not being there.
Whatever will we do?
Wow. These people, except for the military officers, like the two actual active military officers who are there.
Hey there, everyone.
Sorry.
But Patel and Gab and the other guy, whew. Huh. They should all be fired and investigated.
Yeah. At the very least, it's time for an audit. It's time to get some maybe attorneys general in there and just kind of, let them really investigate. Well, oh, that's right.
Right, yeah.
It's just like dirty cops, man. They're going to investigate themselves. They're going to investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing,
I mean, and this is the reason that we have these Senate hearings. And I mean, that wasn't the specific reason for that hearing. But because it happened the day before, then we get to talk about it in real time. And it's the reason that the legislature needs to find its backbone again.
Right.
To do stuff like this, hold these people accountable in public.
Check this out.
Marco Rubio, circa 2016.
When I'm president of the United States, neither she nor any of these other people are going to be above the law, whether it's her or Eric Holder for what he did on Fast and Furious or any of these other folks. People are going to be held accountable if they broke the laws of this country. This president obviously is willing to protect his political cronies, but we're going to hold people accountable. Nobody is above the law, not even Hillary Clinton, even though she thinks she is.
So this is...
First of all, who the fuck is the guy making all the faces?
I don't know. I forget his name. His name is...
It's distracting.
JVL.
All right, JVL, quit making those faces.
I mean, sure.
Callow individuals get made enough.
Here's one from Stephen Miller, August 13th, 2022. One point that doesn't get made enough about Hillary's unsecure server, illegally used to conduct state business, obviously created to hide the Clintons' corrupt pay-for-play. Is that a sad face? Okay. Foreign adversaries could easily hack classified ops and intel in real time from the other side of the globe.
Enough about Hillary's unsecure...
He's awfully quiet today.
Yeah, he's awfully... Well, I want to know what Stephen Miller thinks.
Got two problems here. Two words, top secret.
Right. Yeah.
Before it was servers, it was classified. It was sort of this amorphous idea that maybe it was wrong. Everyone knows what top secret means. I've had a top secret clearance. It's big red flashing letters, top secret. You know when you're looking at something that's top secret or dealing with it. In this case, the public will resonate with that. Hey, if you're hiding that on a private server, that's a very real problem.
Well, and the other thing
likely
is,
criminal charges to follow if they're being fair about it.
Likely criminal charges. Likely...
There you go. Pete?
Yeah.
Holy shit. She's blinding me still. Why does she always blind me?
Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such, says Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, here's the one I was looking for, but I couldn't find it.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
this is where I saw it. Yeah. This is it. This is it. Yeah, this is it. This is what I was looking for. This is what set me off this morning.
Covered up. It's incredible. No, the double standard is incredible. Imagine if it was, I don't know, Donald Trump, what the media would be doing to him right now, eviscerating him. Or imagine if it was a member of the military, which we've seen from General Cartwright and General Petraeus. They still go after these guys for a tiny, tiny fraction of what she willfully did and betrayed her country in doing so, supposedly for convenience, but actually so she could have a different set of standards and hide her conduct and the conduct of the Clinton Foundation, Benghazi, everything else, so she could stay away from and above the law. And it turns out foreign services want to know what our Secretary of State thinks. And in this instance, they did whatever they could to break an unsecure server in her basement. It tells you everything you need to know.
Wait a second. It's actually worse than that, because some of those emails using that unsecured private server were to and from the President of the United States.
Sure.
So these foreign intelligence services were reading the emails of President Obama. I don't believe we've ever seen anything like that before, ever.
No, of course not. And potentially in real time. The technology that others can use once they've got into devices is to listen and see in real time. Who knows what they heard and what they have. And the kind of leverage that gives in negotiations or conversations when you know what our hand is and you can anticipate it or get in front of it, or you know our sources and methods, because we know aides to Hillary Clinton also removed markings so that they could send classified, sometimes secret, top secret information to her personal email, which our enemies were potentially.
How about battle plans and timelines?
Yeah, how about what if they release like very specific details about military actions? Like, what about that?
Like 2 hours before they happen.
I don't know, some random guy on fucking Signal.
Actually reading in real time. That has consequences, including lives and reputation of this great country.
Okay.
Okay is right.
Okay.
I mean, what a joke.
Yeah, the Trump administration is full of the most unserious people. And they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Not a clue.
And they don't want to listen to nobody else.
Yeah. And because they're all Trump loyalists, like I just saw an article. Trump's defending the guy who started the group chat, one of his national security advisors. But they should all be fired. I mean, you can't fire the vice president, but you can fire everyone else.
Oh, Mark Kelly.
Senator Kelly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to come back to the topic of the day here, the signal chain, as reported by The Atlantic. Ms. Gabbard and Mr. Ratcliffe, you each testified that there was no information operational in nature, no classified information. So I want to ask each of you just a series of, just respond yes or no. I'll start with Ms. Gabbard. In the signal chain that we have been talking about, was there any mention of a target in Yemen?
Oh, gulp.
I don't remember mention of specific targets.
Any generic target?
I don't remember. Say it. Say it. I don't remember.
I believe there was discussion around targets in general.
Mr. Ratcliffe.
I think that's consistent with my recollection. Again, I don't have access to that.
Was there any mention, Ms. Gabbard, of a weapon or weapons system?
Why doesn't he just ask these people to pull out their phones and be like, "Can you just show me the chat?"
Yeah, open your phone up. Hold your face up here.
Actually, have them open their phones to prove that it's not on their phones.
Yeah,
and
their
personal phones.
Show me the signal's not on your personal phone. That's your official phone. Put it over there. We're not going to touch it. Open your phone.
At least have the common courtesy to delete it before you came into the room today.
But I've been talking to this guy online, and he's been like
specific weapons systems being named.
I'm not talking about specific, any weapon or weapon system.
I don't recall specific names of systems or weapons being used.
Oh my
or named
God.
within the
Well, I'm
chat.
not asking whether, I don't want you to
And see, when they do that, they think they're being clever by getting around it. You just look like either a slime ball or very stupid.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stop assuming slime ball here in a minute and just start talking slower.
tell me what the specific weapon was, but any weapon at all. Mr. Ratcliffe, same question.
I don't recall.
How about anything about timing? Ms. Gabbard.
His eye is twitching. He's so mad.
I don't recall specific timing.
Was there any
I
mention?
won't get into the detail of the conversation, but obviously there was a significant amount of planning and internal discussions that had occurred prior to and outside of this Signal chat.
Mr. Ratcliffe, you're nodding your head. Any mention of any military unit whatsoever? Mr. Ratcliffe?
Not that I recall.
Ms. Gabbard?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so I understand that DoD policy prohibits discussion of even what is called controlled unclassified information, or CUI, on unsecured devices. Are both of you aware of that DoD policy?
I haven't read that policy.
Oh my God. The Director of National Intelligence doesn't know. See, it was bad at the confirmation hearings when all these people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll read up on that. Oh yeah, I'll check into that." I wasn't aware of that.
That was a lie too.
And now the Director of National Intelligence says, "I don't know about this intelligence policy that we have about classified information and uncontrolled classified information."
Like,
what do you mean?
Like, we told y'all she was a mole.
God. Also check the chat.
Our chat? Or the
Our
chat?
yeah. No, our chat.
Oh.
My chat. I swear it doesn't have classified information in it.
How you doing, ASU?
Oh, it's from the beginning.
Yeah. I found the whole thing. I mean, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I want to watch parts of it.
Okay.
See.
Not familiar with the DoD policy, but I would say that the Secretary of Defense is the original classification authority for DoD in deciding what would be classified information.
Ms. Gabbard, does the intelligence community have a policy that prohibits discussion of controlled unclassified information?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Controlled unclassified information, according to DoD, includes information that is information that has not been approved for public release. Would you, of what's been disclosed publicly of the Signal chain, would either of you feel that that would be approved for public release? Ms. Gabbard.
The discussion that took place in that Signal chat group was a conversation reflecting national security leaders and the vice president around the president's objectives.
So yes or no, would you approve that for public release?
I don't feel I can answer that question here.
Because of the nature of this hearing?
Because of the nature of a private discussion that took place between individual leaders in our government.
It would make sense that you would not approve it for public release, wouldn't it?
There are other factors that would go into that consideration.
Mr. Ratcliffe, yes.
Yeah, like, why would you even consider it? You should be like, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tulsi Gabbard is obviously not good at her job.
Whatever it is.
Or no?
I wouldn't approve the release of classified information. Again, as I've said,
I'm not talking about.
So you said there is classified information. There's military dudes, man.
Classified information,
Boy,
Mr. Ratcliffe. I'm talking about information that has not been approved for public release. That is information that is considered controlled, unclassified information.
the principals that would have been on that would have been individuals capable of approving that for public release.
I got 20 seconds. The deliberation as to whether or not we should launch a strike on another country, would you consider that classified information, Ms. Gabbard?
Well, the information was not classified.
Oh my God.
I'm not talking about.
He's not asking you if it was already classified. He said, in the moment, would you consider it classified?
Tim, my TDS is kicking in. My TDS is kicking in. My derangements.
All they know is obfuscate, deflect, and deny. That's all they know.
Unbelievable.
It's been 2 months, and I don't even know how long she's been national intelligence director, but she's not good at it. Find someone else.
Find anybody else.
I got TDS, and it's becoming terminal.
I'm in stage
How you
3.
doing, ASU? Oh my goodness, it is so good to be with you all today. Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh. Are you all ready to rock?
Yeah.
Are you all ready to take our country back?
Yeah.
We're gonna throw these bums out and fight for the nation we deserve.
Yeah, get Schumer out of there.
Get the bums out of here.
Thank you all so much. My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That's a genuine pop.
Future President of the United States.
Some of you may know me as AOC, but I come to you as a friend. As a friend. You know, my home in New York is a ways from here, but in truth, I love you too.
Oh, dude, she's working the crowd. Uh-oh.
I know.
She's leveled up, y'all. She leveled up. She's doing arenas.
Oh, man. And this is what, like 34,000 people they spoke in front of. Like, that's the biggest rally that Bernie's ever had.
Uh-oh.
The distance between us is a lot shorter than we think, or even that we're told. And I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here
Is she grateful? Grateful!
tonight. I really sincerely thank each and every one of you. And the energy in here is so amazing, and I want you all to know there's another couple thousand people outside and overflow.
Paul, I don't know how many were watching it live because there was like 7 different channels it was on, but this is a repost, and it's got 134K views in a day.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Which is crazy for politicians. Like most of their channels have like 8 to 12 views per video. It's just no one ever watches it. This is different.
Flow as well. And so if you are in that overflow area, Bernie and I are going to go say hi to you too afterwards. But this is what it means to come together. And, you know, Bernie and I were rallying in Las Vegas not too long ago. And being here, the programs.
Got some hands up over here, so something happened.
Me on the idea that we're just one step out of being in that club too. That you're just a little bit away from being one of them. Grind set mindset, right? Except those kinds of spoils that they are rolling in are not earned. They aren't working for those billions of dollars. They're stealing them. They're stealing them from you and you and you and your mom and your grandparents.
She said
my grandparents.
She said your mama.
Not me, Ma.
And all of us.
They wouldn't.
Just look at what Elon Enron and Trump are doing to our health care, to our veterans benefits, and to Social Security. They are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying for.
Yeah.
By the way, not them, because these billionaires have not paid their fair share in taxes in years. So we are paying into this, and they are trying to take it.
That's as simple as you got to make it. That's
yeah.
Not all this extra stuff. I don't understand all this extra stuff they keep trying to pull. There you go. They're taking your shit. Don't let them take your shit.
And it's not even part their shit. They're just taking your shit, and they don't want to pay for any of it.
Hate to be reductive, but come on, y'all.
And mind you, even if you aren't on Medicaid or Medicare, this raises your private health insurance costs too. And let's talk about Medicaid and Medicare for a second. Because just a few weeks ago, every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid in this country.
Snitch on them.
And so many of them now are, oh, no, we didn't. It didn't say Medicaid in the bill. It's, no. They voted to cut $880 billion from the committee that governs Medicaid. And they voted for that. Now, you see, the thing is, these budgets are not just fights about numbers. We need to understand that. They are fights over our values as a country.
Or like
because Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security were promises that we as a people have made to each other about the kind of country we are and the kind of society we want to live in. And I don't know about you, Arizona, but I want to live in an America that guarantees health care to every person.
Uh-oh.
Can I vote for her now for president?
They're just going to throw it away if you do it now. Then you have to get up and do it again. You have to wait. I guarantee you they are not going to show this to Trump.
No.
They will hide this footage from him for years if he's got that long. Like, they will make sure he never sees this.
Yeah, they're never going to show him this because he will lose his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Over this.
What if I could have said that? I could say that better.
Yeah.
Look at that crap. Wow. It's not computer.
Here's the problem that I think the Democrats and Republicans are going to have with this, with the AOC Bernie nationwide tour to fight oligarchy. Most of the Democrats don't have the spine to follow up on this.
Right.
And like the Chuck Schumers of the world and Ivey and those other Democrats who are like, we got to work within the system that we have, kind of stuff.
Dick Durbin.
The moderate Democrats, the let's call them conservative Democrats at this point.
Conservative liberals.
They're not gonna have the will to fucking follow this because they're not for Medicare for all and making sure that Social Security and Medicaid are adequately funded and defended.
But the lobbyist money.
But yeah, the lobbyist money, and the Republicans, I feel like if this goes on for a while, if Bernie and AOC are out there doing this for a couple more months, like they're gonna start sweating under the collar a bit.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a problem for them. They're getting booed at their own rallies, at their own town halls, and AOC's out there and Bernie's out there pulling in 30,000 people every time they go somewhere.
Looking kind of weak out there. Looking kind of vulnerable.
I want to live in an America that has a living wage for every person. I want to live in America where you have free speech to express yourself and not be afraid of getting put on a list or deported. But these promises that we've made, they are not promises from politicians to the people, or they're not charity from billionaires to everyday Americans. They are promises we have made to each other. Neighbor to neighbor, friend to...
I don't know who's writing these speeches, but they are crushing it.
Yeah, damn.
This is some Bane level shit.
Friend, teacher to student.
Ooh, how about the populist Dems?
Ooh, populist Dems.
The pop Dems.
I mean, that's the other problem that the Trump faction's going to have, is that Bernie is a populist.
Yeah.
He's got a populist movement, and Bernie very narrowly won, if not for the DNC, the presidency in 2016. So their problem is going to be, is their populism more popular than Bernie's populism? Because Bernie is offering people solutions. He's offering people a different vision of America that's not so fucked.
Right.
And Trump is out there fucking just disappearing people and ruining the economy. Pretty soon, Bernie's going to look like a pretty appealing option to the Republican populace.
Like, where's that Bernie guy at? Does he have? Is he training a Jedi of his own?
Family member to family member. That we want to live in a society that is not depraved, not every person for themselves, but all of us standing together.
Yeah, can't we just Canada ourselves? You don't see the Canadians over there wilding out and being fucking crazy. God, the Canadians got some home training. God.
Yeah. I mean, she is right. This American individualism thing has gone way too far. Way too far.
I swear, man, some people got stuck in that COVID panic brain, and they have not been able to desync from that shit. They're still stuck in that. I'll buy all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, the I'll get mine and fuck everybody else mentality.
There's too many of us from, America's like a skating rink. Very few people fall at a skating rink because someone's usually there to drag your raggedy ass back up. And the more crowded it is, the less people fall. Until you got these assholes laying down. But oh, Paul says it's Obama's speechwriter.
This is the promise that we make to each other as Americans. And to
Sterling. Take an air horn, Sterling.
me, the strength of our country is not only measured by the height of our best days. The strength of our nation is about who is there for you and what happens on your worst day. And that's why I'm here with you today. Because I want to share with you exactly what I mean.
Wayne in the chat.
Because what they call radical, I believe, is common sense.
Yeah, they're going to have a problem with this. They're
They're gonna have a big problem with this.
I believe that in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, if a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt. Common sense.
No, she's wrong. You should go bankrupt. I don't know what the counterplay to this is. Well, if you weren't
so poor, you wouldn't go bankrupt.
If you weren't so poor, you wouldn't get sick and then go bankrupt.
Stop being poor.
Buy my crypto.
I believe that a minimum wage should cover the minimum cost to live. Common sense.
Yeah, if she keeps hammering on the common sense shit, and then they put her on a hat, a common sense hat. Oh
yeah,
they're gonna be in trouble.
And by the way, we should
it.
also see that not paying a living wage is actually a form of corporate welfare too, because these big companies like Walmart and Amazon often rely on food stamp programs and public coffers to cover the wages that they won't pay.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the right wing response to that.
Yeah,
like, why the hell would you justify lowering the taxes for somebody like Walmart when they pay their people so little that the government has to subsidize the food for their employees?
Right.
That should be covered by Walmart.
It should be. And they should offer, yeah, if they're not going to offer it as cash, they should offer it as a benefit. Like saying, like, oh, maybe you can have this amount of money to shop at Walmart for your food since we're paying you so little.
We give you $150 a week to just like buy our brand shit or whatever.
But... Yeah. It is corporate welfare. It allows companies to avoid paying you benefits and a real wage.
To people. I believe that homes are not slot machines for investors and big banks to extort working families out of.
Fucking thank
Hell
you.
Yeah.
God
Hell
damn,
yeah.
this fucking housing market is an absolute joke right now. An absolute joke. $90,000 townhouses going for $250.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
It is. It is absolutely insane. Like in my neighborhood, like $200,000 capes are going for like $400,000 or $500,000.
Because
what is going on?
They got AI running the damn valuations on the properties. Like, I don't understand what's going on right now.
Well, and all these private equity firms buying up houses, turning them into rentals instead of actually like houses that people can live in and like, you know, have value and fucking actual wealth.
I'm Idris Elba. I goes where I goes.
There you go, wait.
Every last dollar that they have. A home is sacred. And when your landlord doubles your rent overnight or housing prices skyrocket because Wall Street treats our housing market like a casino, your government and your public servants should fight to help you keep an affordable roof over your head.
I think I told you, or told everybody. I told somebody. A house, like a regular, like 3-bedroom house, like a single family home in Compton, is $1 million.
In Compton, $1 million?
$1 million.
Holy shit, bro.
Like, this has gone on long enough.
Yeah, it's I don't, and once again, I don't know what the Republican response is. Like, she wants to make your housing affordable and saying that like these people are buying up all the houses and treating our housing market like a casino. We should stop that. And you're going to say what?
Too
no.
Damn high party finally found its champion.
I believe that our elected officials should take on abuses of corporate greed everywhere they find it.
Greed is
must
good.
Get big money out of politics.
Yeah.
That is how we make clear that our country is not for sale. And Arizona, that is why I don't and never will take money from industry lobbyists or corporations.
Hey, do you remember that Congressman Ivey guy who was like, "Yeah, I'll take that." What?
I just wanted to know. I voted for you last time. Is there any way you could like stop taking money from AIPAC? No.
I need that. I need that money.
I need that sweet moolah, baby. I told you I'm not in private practice no more.
Or you could take the Bernie Sanders approach and say, I'm never taking PAC money. I'm never taking corporate money, and fund one of the largest campaigns in the history of the country.
For a primary, too.
For a primary. He had $100 million for a primary. And the average donation was what, like $27?
Yeah.
There you go. That plan found. That's the blueprint right there.
No. What we're gonna do is snuggle up to these corporate execs, you see, and promise them no taxes, you see, and then then all of the plans that we have will not be able to accomplish because we have all the people that we were going to tax to pay for all the things we want to accomplish paying us to not do it. Cool.
You know, Fox News,
Oh
you.
no.
That's a pop, dude.
She's getting the wrestling chance.
That's a pop, dude. That's going on the board. Hold on.
You know, Fox News. Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's like when they chant, like every time D Rose goes anywhere near a basketball court, they're like MVP. Like he can't even go near the court no more. He got to sit up in the box.
Or like, or like fucking whenever CM Punk shows up somewhere, like that's the kind of chant.
Yeah.
That's like CM Punk in Chicago.
Right.
You know, folks, Fox News would have, and the right wing.
They boot that shit so fast. There was no wait for boo on that fucking crib sheet. That's funny.
Would have you believe that these American values are something out of the Communist Manifesto. And that we believe
She calling you out, Sterling. She calls you out, dog.
these things because we went to some college and read them in a book somewhere. But I can tell you that I don't believe in healthcare, labor, and human dignity because I'm an extremist. I believe these things because I was a waitress.
Yeah, waitresses.
Because I scrubbed toilets with my mom
Service
to afford
industry.
school. Because I've worked double shifts to keep the lights on. Because I did lose a parent to cancer as a kid and had to see my mom open the hospital bills a couple days later. Because on my worst day, I know what it feels to feel left behind. And I don't want us.
There it is. That's the thing. That's half of the demographics for the Dems felt like they were being ignored and that they were being left behind.
Yeah.
Wages stagnating and then inflation creeping up and then the housing market going crazy. And all we could hear was Joe Biden bragging about his economy.
And I'm pretty sure that's the entire reason she ran for office is that she was trying to fight back against being left behind like that. I mean, I'm going to look up her first campaign because I'm pretty sure, let's see. AOC's first campaign was in 2018.
Am I really
and she was primarying a Democrat named Joseph Crowley, who had served for 20 years in that seat.
Did he do something?
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, he sounds like he's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I remembered his name just because he lost to her. I think he did something.
So Crowley in the 2018 election, which is the election that he lost and she won in the primary, was named as a potential successor to Nancy Pelosi. And that he was backed by an organization called AOC was backed by an organization named Brand New Congress. At the time, she was a bartender and an activist. And she challenged Crowley. And I don't see anything. Damn, she fucking cleaned his clock, too. 60% of the vote.
Couldn't be me.
So she was challenging him on the basis that he was a corporate Democrat who was next in line to be Speaker of the House behind Nancy Pelosi. Like, Nancy Pelosi funded him.
That's why they hate her ass. That's why she didn't get that.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't get that chair position. This one's for Crowley. How's that?
She accused him of corruption and stating that he was using his position as chair of the Queen's Democratic Party improperly.
Pretty soon we're going to become this country.
And he outspent her 2-1.
I don't know why they think money is still everything. Like, dude, it is not the 90s anymore. Everyone's not parked in front of the TV all day. And let me tell you something. Those mailers are great for cleaning up like random dust piles, but that's about it. They're good, nice card stock. No one reads that shit. It does not influence me or anyone I know to vote a certain way. Just because you sent 87 pieces of paper to my fucking house.
The reasons that AOC is very popular is that she's an authentic person. And I know we talked about that before, where like you can tell when someone is being disingenuous.
Yeah.
And AOC is 100% what she says is her. Like it's her whole thing. Is she was a waitress, she ran for Congress and won. And now she's trying, and from day one, she was upsetting the fucking Democrats, being way too loud for them, and calling people out and ruffling feathers.
Yep.
Like Nancy Pelosi straight up hated AOC, or probably still does. I don't know.
Probably still does.
Probably still does. But like, AOC doesn't fuck around. She doesn't beat around the bush.
She doesn't have to.
And she's not there to make friends.
Right. Because she's 35.
Yeah.
They're 70s. She ain't got to kiss your ass. She can wait you out, dog. She's not losing her district anytime soon, so.
They're calling her Rhino Taylor Greene.
I don't want any of us to live like this anymore. We deserve better, Arizona. We deserve better than this.
And that translates so good too.
Yeah.
That translates so good. Mm.
And
in fact, if I was the Democratic Party, if I was the DNC chair, whoever the fuck that guy is, I would make "We Deserve Better" the slogan. I would make "We Deserve Better" the slogan for the Democratic Party for the next 2 years.
I mean, it's right there. It's right there. Just pick it up and use it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Tell you something. This isn't just about Republicans either. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too.
Yes. That's a pop.
But that means, here's what that means. That means our communities, each and every one of us, choosing and voting for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class.
And a little historical knowledge for our buddy Sterling in the chat there. The thing you're forgetting is the squad and all those progressives that came in and all those people that like caucused and got help from Bernie. Yeah, got help from Bernie and all that stuff. When Build Back Better came up and all the progressive stuff came up, the corporate Democrats shut it all down and said, no, we're not moving the needle. I'm glad that you guys joined the team, but we're not going to actually do anything. And I think it was Cori Bush from Missouri's 1st District representing St. Louis. She was like, I'm not voting for this. I don't give a damn. I told my people I was doing this. No, we're not waiting until later. We're doing it right now. And then Hakeem Jeffries comes over and all these people come over and they have to like, oh, well, you know, we have to like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's the same shit outside of DC that people of this age are dealing with, that they're dealing with, which makes them even more relatable. That there is this progressive iceberg, this slippery slope that we could easily just start going down. And people don't have to like the person that's in charge of it. They're going to like their parents being able to age with dignity. You know what I mean? Like they're going to enjoy that part of it. Having health care for everybody, I think they'll like that. I think that changes because I don't know anybody. Well, I know two people out of my entire graduating class of like 600 that actually went to medical school. You know, maybe a handful of nurses, but nobody's aspiring to do the work because they don't see it as work that's good anymore. They just see it as kleptocracy. They just see it as oligarchy. They just see it as big pharma. You know, pick your conspiracy theory. That's how this stuff is starting to appear now. And we got a lot of friends over here that are in the UK. Ask them about doctors. Ask them about young doctors. And why they need immigrants into the country. You know, because if you do not keep up a healthy regime of people in love with the medical field and willing to go into it, you will run out of them. Oh, get out of here, cat. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. He hasn't eaten in 4 hours, so you know, this is a national emergency. Scott. It's unfortunate that I think things always have to get so incredibly shitty before people figure out the very obvious cheaper ideas that are right in front of us.
And Tempe, I want to give you your flowers for a second because you all have been working overtime to make that happen. In fact, one thing I love about Arizonans is that you all have shown that if a U.S. senator isn't...
Don't you support RFK Jr. eliminating Big Pharma TV advertising? I'm hesitant to agree with him about anything. About anything. But if it's like to not get people hooked on like new things, like unnecessary medicine, that's fine. You know? Like things will turn, but the harm done, there's gonna, yeah. And this let's just make a run for the treasury before they can stop us. I don't know if they've met Americans yet, but we will pull this motherfucker over if it starts going too far astray.
Fighting hard enough for you, you're not afraid to replace her with one who will and win. And that's how you got two fantastic senators in Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego. And that's not all. Last week, when Republicans put up their draconian spending bill on the House, I want you to know that your representatives, Yasmin Ansari, who's here tonight.
Darren's got a good point. Banning Big Pharma advertising is something RFK Jr. can promise in the happy knowledge it'll never happen.
Oh, yeah. What'd I miss?
Not too much.
She's around. Yasmin Ansari and Greg Stanton.
Yeah, Greg.
Along with Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly, they all stood strong and voted.
I like his stance on Big Pharma, but he's a shill for homeopathy, like Alex Jones with a shittier voice. Yeah, that's actually true. It is shittier. And I know he's got like a condition. Well, when you tell a bunch of Samoan kids not to get vaccinated and they die from it, I'm going to fucking make fun of your voice. So,
yeah, that
no
just happens.
Against the DC pressure and said we will not agree to a spending bill that cuts billions from working people. But the thing is, we need more people like them with the courage to brawl for the working class.
Is that her build? Is she the brawler build? You know, like a Sabretooth or Wolverine. She's the brawler type. E Honda. Hunter hand slapping.
But you know what?
Whoa. What's the y'all ended up supporting? Ain't no y'all. 10 out of 350 is not y'all. Nice try.
You know which Arizonan did vote to gut Medicaid and jack up healthcare costs?
Yeah.
David Schweikert.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Man.
So, folks, you know what that means. We need to come together and spend every day for the next year and a half working to educate other Arizonans and give Schweikert the boot and replace him with a brawling Democrat who will stand up for Arizona.
He gone. I'm calling. What's today's date? It is 3/25/25. He gone. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
Damn.
He gone. He is gone. gone.
Yeah.
He'll resign. That's what he'll resign.
He'll just be like, I'm not seeking re-election.
I want to spend more time with my family.
Damn.
Defend your champions. Defend your elected officials taking risks to fight for us. And don't stop there. I want you to look at every level of office around and support Democrats who fight, because those are the ones who can actually win against Republicans. But beyond elections, our bigger task is to build community.
Nope, she said community. That's what she said.
She's a communist, right? Is that right?
Pretty soon we're going to become this country.
Associations, volunteer groups, PTAs, church organizations, causes all around you. This is the connective tissue that can dismantle fascism. Because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out corruption. So I'll end where I began. We might all come from different places.
70 no.
But we share a lot of the same experiences. So,
Someone just shout "My Queen."
Yo, y'all are so embarrassing. Y'all are so embarrassing.
Oh no.
Cringe.
Lot of the same experiences. So,
and he hit the note on it too. My queen.
My queen. Oh boy.
Your representative. So to all those who came here today unsure of whether this is where you belong, I want to say to you all that you do.
Oh my God, is she the Daenerys build?
Oh, she might be. She might be.
Honestly, no matter who you voted for in the past, no matter if you know all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender identity, or status, no matter even if you disagree with me on a few things, but if you are willing to fight for someone you don't know, you are welcome here.
She's calling out the Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in trouble, dude.
If you are willing to fight for working people, regardless of who they are, how they identify, or where they come from, you are welcome here. Because here, everyone is valued. Every life is valued. But I will say this. Those leaders on either side of the aisle who are willing to put their fellow Americans down so that they can get ahead or feel better about themselves, those folks might best find a home elsewhere. Because in this house, we stand together. Because here, we know that together, without exception, is the only way that we can win this fight. And so I hope that you see that this movement is not about partisan labels or purity tests, but it's about class solidarity. It's about the thousands of you who came out today to stand together and say our lives deserve dignity and our work deserves respect. No matter.
Eviscerate the proletariat.
Broke people love respect. Because we ain't getting no money. So we ain't paying out no respect.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we are here to make a sacred promise to each other today, to take care of each other on our worst days.
It's a cult.
And to share in the successes of our best. So with that, I want to introduce to you all a man who has spent his entire life trying to bring us together.
Brace for Titanfall.
You know, I know that one of the things that inspired me to run for office for the first time is that when I saw Senator Sanders on television. And I was wiping tables down and saw the TV on and saying every person in this country deserves health care as a human right. And I know it made me feel almost for the first time that this isn't something that we should earn. This is something that should be afforded to all of us because we are human.
Oh my God, what is with
Because
this
we are
camera?
human.
Why is it shaking from the audience?
I just want to thank him, and so let's give him the most earth-shaking round of applause.
Oh God.
When we come out, everybody, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Okay. Music. Hey, chill. chill.
Damn. That's a pretty big pop.
That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So.
I don't even remember hitting that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one either.
Phantom buttons.
Sterling in the chat there says that Trump's sending education back to the states, and I said, well, that's going to be very uneven for the red states because most of them can't afford that shit. And he said, we have the freedom of movement. Feel free to support states that you feel give the best education.
Is moving free?
Is moving free? Yeah. Are houses free?
Do you get a free job when you go somewhere else because the public school system has just collapsed?
You know, that's the same sort of fucking explanation Ben Shapiro gave to like global warming. Like, oh, if you live on the coast and your house gets washed away because sea level rise, just move inland a bit. You can move. People will move. Yeah, because moving is something that's free and easy.
It's completely free and easy.
Move to the states that you want to have the best education. It's not going to be West Virginia or fucking Alabama or Mississippi
Arkansas.
or Florida. You know, if that happened and people moved to the states with the best education, there'd be some empty states.
I was about to say, who the hell would live out in those rural ass states? Because they're not going to get any money. So then the schools are going to just be like a freaking book that everybody has to read. And I'm like, that's the learning book.
And
put it back when you're done.
Sterling is making my point for me. He said that's a you problem. And that is exactly what the Republicans believe. Mm-hmm. Is that everything is on you and it's your fault that you're poor.
Who are you gonna sell their houses to, Ben? Fucking Aquaman.
I mean, I get it, right? Individualism, right? That's what it's all about. We're all American. We can all choose our own paths. And you know, if there's no, the Department of Education only provides 10% of funding to the states, right? But they have all these programs for the disabled and the poor and the underserved that are just going to go away. So if you have a disability or you don't have any money and you can't afford school lunch or whatever, Good luck. It's roulette based on the state you're in at that point. Whether or not you get lunch if you don't have any money and you're a child and you can't afford to eat. Good fucking luck. Good luck, everybody else. I hope you live in a correct state.
I hope you're born in the correct state, because if you're not born in the correct state, I don't know how you're going to get out of it.
There's going to be wildly different education outcomes based on the state that you live in. Good luck, everybody else.
Right. And I mean, this is what drives crime. People are like, well, I'm going to just build me a fence and then I'm going to just keep all the gold back here. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything of value to take. So whoever thinks that hoarding is a good idea in a time of need or in a time of famine, okay. Well, just keep buy a Cybertruck while you're at it.
Yeah.
Make it easier for all of the broke, starving people to find out who they need to rip out of the car and eat whole. just get a Cybertruck. Let them know.
Did you hear that they all got recalled again? because they're basically glued together and the glue was like dissolving and the panels were coming off of them.
But Mike, I need to hoard these alligators. You don't understand. They're my friends and it's their birthday. Yet you feel entitled to something you haven't earned.
Like what?
See, that's the thing. You don't know what the law is. You don't know how these systems work. And if you don't understand it, like I could take an hour to teach you, but I feel like at this point, that's kind of on you for not knowing.
What do I feel entitled to that I haven't earned in education? Because I've spent I'm so many thousands of dollars in debt for that one.
And it's the same thing with all this crypto and all this other bullshit. You know what I mean? It's a rug pull. You know, everybody goes to public school or goes to college or something like that, and then they want to turn it off behind them. Like it's the typical fucking boomer rug pull that they've been trying to pull on us forever. And we're like, we went to college, now what? Get another degree.
Now, I don't know about Mikey, but I don't live in communist Illinois.
You
I live
motherfucker.
I live in communist Connecticut. I think we're even more communist than Illinois.
Tim,
what?
You gonna keep fucking with me? Is
no,
where we're at?
I'm not gonna. I'm
not your enemy here, sir.
I know. Listen. The education that you receive in Connecticut is different from the education you would receive in, let's say, Alabama. And we've looked it up. It's statistically provable. The education outcomes in Connecticut and Alabama are different.
Tons of my says happy birthday Gators.
And getting rid of the Department of Education is just going to make that worse. You think suddenly a state that's like 49th is not going to be 49th anymore because there's no Department of Education? That those states are going to pour more money into their school systems? No. They'll have less resources. That's what this is about. It's taking away resources and cutting government spending for no real reason except to have tax cuts for the wealthy.
And that's the underpinning to like a lot of these right-wing arguments, that it is so bizarre to hear relatively broke people, you know what I'm saying, argue for millionaires to have tax cuts as if they're gonna get it. Like, why are you wishing that someone else has a better birthday party than you every year?
Yeah.
Like you're like, I would rather not have a big birthday party. I want some other kid to have a better birthday party than me. But then as soon as there's like someone who has a worse birthday party than you, you say, what an idiot. Should have had a good birthday party. But you're literally giving yours away to rich people.
Right. And I don't mean to pile on to one guy in the chat, but
he knows what he's doing. He's tough.
Yeah.
I know him personally.
Yeah.
He's good.
Okay.
Don't ban him. Don't ban him, mods. He's fine.
Yeah. Like we don't want to, he's not saying anything like that's actually harmful to people. He's just having a different viewpoint. And honestly, I could argue it all day too. Like, I think he's incorrect about, well, if you don't like it, just move somewhere else. I mean, that's not an option for everyone.
So okay, if that's the case, and the votes turn around and we vote to take all of the billionaires' money, then he should be okay with that. And then he'll say, I don't want any of it. Just leave me out of it. I want to pay full price for all my shit. I want my healthcare to be wildly expensive. I want all this. So he will not at all, partake in the better society that's formed from a more legitimate taxing of the populace. He won't have any. He'll continue to pay high taxes even if he doesn't want to. It's so not even in your own best interest. Because if you cared about yourself, you would want things to be better for more people. Because that way it's easier for you to get it yourself.
Yeah.
It's real simple.
And I think it's just, like you said, Mikey, it's people acting against their own interests. And even if you think that the government shouldn't be funding certain programs and stuff like that, there's still things that the government does that are necessary and are required for us to live in a society that is functional, like the FDA and the CDC and all these organizations that make sure you're not dying from a disease of some kind, or you're not getting food poisoning, or what the weather is, and how to to evacuate if there's a natural disaster coming and stuff like that. Like, Trump also wants to get rid of FEMA and send disaster relief to the states, which they do not have the money for.
Yep.
Not even my state, not even California has the money to deal with disaster relief on its own. How are you going to deal with that when it's your state, your town that's in the middle of a natural disaster and they say, we can't fund it. We can't fund the relief effort because we don't have any money. It's not in the budget.
And I'm saying broke in a taxation is theft. That's a lie. And you can't even back up that it's theft. Because you can't name a single job that you've ever had where you didn't depend on the federal government to ensure that your paycheck got to you. So the fact that you ever got a paycheck from anyone ever, or you were ever able to enforce one contract ever, proves that you needed a society, which means you need to pay into it. Unless you're out here trading chickens and goats.
So is Sterling there like a hardcore libertarian? Is that what's going on?
He keeps trying to be libertarian, but he don't be remembering the words to his song all the time. And then he'll slip up and then be like, do some really, have like a really anti-libertarian take and then have to spin it back. But he'll figure it out.
He said, I make good money and you aren't entitled to my labor. That's that's actually a very left progressive thought there, that no one else is entitled to his labor but him. That's Marx.
Oh, see, it's a slippery slope, man. You don't went so far right, you don't fell up on the left.
Have you read Marx? Because that's Marx's entire point is that the bourgeoisie is stealing the labor of the proletariat, and that the workers should keep all of the rewards of their labor.
I'm not Marxist. I'm not Marxist.
Oh, I mean, that's literally in there.
There you go.
No person.
She's a Marxist.
She's a Marxist. So I'm just saying, like, that's the whole game.
Yeah.
For socialism.
When you're done repeating other people's bumper stickers, you'll be like, holy shit, I've been saying the same thing they've been saying. You as a libertarian. Don't deny it. Don't deny your true nature.
Oh, man.
It's okay, though.
Well, Mikey, do we have anything else? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Cleared the board for the day.
Yeah. We just, I was trying to find some, like, you know,
something fun.
Yeah, something fun to go out on here. That's not gonna just immediately ding the channel.
That is a problem.
But it's okay.
Not to like promote other people's channels, but I saw the new Somewhere News because I subscribe to their Patreon, which is what our people should do. Subscribe to our Patreon so you can see our stuff ahead of time or whatever. Like we do Q&As on there and all that. But anyway.
Oh, I have to tell you something after you're saying your thing.
Okay. Their new episode is entirely about all the activism stuff that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, like how to get involved in actually a lot of the stuff that AOC was talking about with community efforts and stuff like that. So if you don't subscribe to Somewhere News on YouTube, do it because it's good stuff.
It is.
They are part of the fight. But yeah, patreon.com/The Bin Network, The Bin Podcast, and wow, sometimes I get those mixed up. And
it's in the description. Just say it's in the description. It's always in the description.
Oh, is it in the description? It's in the description.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. We have a free tier, so you can watch the videos on there under the free tier as well.
Yes.
And if you feel like giving us a few dollars, I'm not going to hold it against you.
Well, maybe.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Maybe we'll hold it against you. The night is young, and so am I.
And are we ending?
Yeah, I don't think I can find anything.
All right.
We're maybe for today's Patreon exclusive, we'll do spoilers on Solo Leveling.
Oh my God! Yes, yes, I need to talk about it.
The single greatest anime that there has ever been.
Oh my God!
We're about to get real loud. So thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for spending the time. We will see you later.
Thursday, same time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh.
Do you see tons of gators in the chat?
No.
Hilarious.